Property Elevator is proudly sponsored by BFS.
My name is John Howard. I'm a property developer with 40 years experience, and in that time I've bought and sold over 3,500 properties, and I'm still going. I've got a reputation for taking on huge blocks of flats. Why do I love property? I love meeting people, I love doing deals, I'm a deal junkie. What do you need to be successful in the property industry? Well, you've got to back your own judgment, you've got to be sensible, brave, and above all, you need to know what you're going to do if the deal goes wrong. What I'm looking for today are some good deals. If they're not good deals, I won't be investing.
My name's Simon Zucchi. I'm an active property investor, and since 2003, I've been helping thousands of other people learn how to be successful investors to replace their income and build an alternative for their pension. The part of property I really excel at is finding people who've got a difficult property problem, helping them find a creative solution to come up with a win-win that works for everybody. What I love about property is two things. First of all, you can actually work once and get paid forever. That's if you retain the property. And secondly, you can actually use other people's money to invest in property. To be successful in property, I think you need to be very persistent. It's not easy, and sometimes people give up far too soon. In the pitches today, I want to find someone who's got a great attitude, who knows what they're doing, and isn't afraid to put in some time and effort to get some great results.
My name is Nicholas Wallwork. I'm an investor, developer, author and owner of propertyforum.com. My expertise is in property development and in particular micro studios. I love property because it creates a passive income. It's a great way of generating wealth and freedom. I think to become successful, you need to be flexible and creative and work with lots of different people. The qualities I'm looking for today are an entrepreneur that's driven, someone that's creative and able to overcome problems when they arise.
I'm Michelle Niziel, and I own and manage 5 property and finance related businesses, and I'm also a property investor. In property, the thing that I excel at the most is finding those hidden gem property investments for my portfolio landlords. To be successful in the property industry, you need to be completely fearless. Just go for it and don't hold back. What I'm looking for today is somebody who thinks big, who's got passion for the industry. If the project isn't exciting, then I won't be investing.
My name is Sandeep Puri. I'm a property investor. Part of the property industry I excel at the most is finding deals and doing the background checks to make sure they work very well. The property industry is always evolving, which makes it a very dynamic place to be, and that's the bit that I enjoy the most and I excel at. From the pitches today, I'm looking for something that's very different, interesting, and the people behind it have actually carried out a lot of due diligence to make sure their numbers work.
My name is Geraldine Curran and I come from Tyler's Green.
Hi, my name's Renaud Labouchardier and I'm up today from Bournemouth.
Hi, my name is Andrew Mbott and I was born a few miles just from here. But if you listen to my exotic accent, you wouldn't think so. I've actually spent the last 20 years living in Asia, so this accent is actually Chinglish. Right now, I'm living here in Cambridge.
Well, I bought my first property when I was 18. And since then we've bought various other properties. We also inherited a property as well. A lot of the time we've flipped them, we've done them up and sold them. But now I'm looking at having a possible income.
Historically, my experience in property is I was a property developer up until 2008, and prior to that I was a mortgage broker for about 12 years as well.
I've been full-time in property now for 3 full years, and I've already signed 3 multi-million-pound deals.
I'd say that my level of experience in the property industry is more or less a beginner, although I've kind of dabbled.
So my aspirations are, the business model is to buy residential properties, extend them, convert them, refurbish them into HMOs, fill them up with rent-paying guests and sell them to professional landlords or people who want that income stream.
My aspirations within this industry is to not be pigeonholed, to actually really want to look at all different things. That is setting up a portfolio, that is flipping properties, that is even looking at starting new builds. So I don't think that I should be pushed into one particular area. I want to be able to just literally see where it takes me.
Well, my long-term aspirations in property is to provide a heritage fund for my family. As we all know, our salaries are getting smaller and smaller and smaller over time. So I'd like to build a heritage fund for my family, my investors and partners.
The project I'm looking to pitch today is a property that's been lived in by one old lady for 30 odd years. So as you can imagine, it needs some serious refurbishment. It can be purchased for $360,000 and the refurbishment is going to cost between $100,000 and $120,000. And then once it's done, it will generate an income of in excess of $80,000 a year, meaning that the value, well, what it should sell for should be around $750,000 to $800,000. So I predict the profit will be around £220,000 to £270,000 gross.
And my pitch today is going to be based around a 4-bed HMO. It's the one that I've actually got the deal on is really in quite a bit of a bad state, and I want to kind of bring it up so that young professionals will want to live there. At the moment it does have students and they'll obviously be finishing their term and going in the summer, but if I can get this one in the bag, then what we can do with it is make it look beautiful so that when you see the photographs, as a young professional, you'll want to live there. It's in the town, right 5 minutes from town, it's right near the station. What more could you want other than a decent place to live, which I generally believe there is a real lack of them at the moment. So let's bring up accommodation. That's exactly what I'm trying to do.
I'm here today to pitch this great project that I've found right here in London. It's an end of terrace house that is ideal to be converted into 3 apartments. At the moment the planning says no, but I know there'll be a change of the law soon, so we'll be able to convert it to the 3 apartments. If the property angels join me with this high return and safe investment with this property right here in central London, they'll make a fabulous return.
Property Elevator is proudly sponsored by BFS.
My name is John Howard and I've been investing and developing properties for over 40 years. In that time, I've been very successful, but of course I've always made the odd mistake as well. In my book, I explain how to be successful and what to do should something go wrong. I've survived 3 property recessions. I can help you do the same. My book is available online. Please go to johnhowardpropertyexpert.co.uk.
Make your property finance easy with Bridging Finance Solutions. Our ethos is make it happen, and that's exactly what we do. We have many clients, from experienced property investors, developers and landlords, right through to people purchasing their very first investment property at auction. Bridging Finance Solutions is a principal lender, which means we have the freedom and flexibility to make immediate lending decisions. We bring years of experience with hundreds of satisfied clients. So if you're looking for fast finance from real people with a common sense approach, contact us today.
Hello, my name's Simon Zucchi. I'm the author of Property Magic, which you can buy on Amazon for $12.99 or indeed get on Audible if you prefer listening to books. Now, I started investing in property in 1995 and I became financially independent by the age of 32, but I made a huge number of mistakes because I learned the hard way. You don't have to do that. I've explained in this book how you can make a huge amount of money investing in property when you know how to do it. And one of the secrets is working with motivated sellers, people for whom the speed and certainty of the sale is more important than the amount of money they get. And we look to find people who've got a problem and come up with an ethical win-win solution. I explain exactly how you do it in here. It's a bestseller. You can buy it online, as I said. However, you can get a complimentary copy. All you have to do is phone the number below or go to the website. I ask you just to pay for the postage, tell us where you want to send it in the UK, and we'll send it completely free of charge to you. Call us right now and we'll send a book to you straight away. Learn how to invest with knowledge, invest with skill.
Investing in property and building a portfolio can be easy with the right support and service. From property sourcing to selection and financing, through to refurbishment, vetting and letting. Michelle Niziel's bespoke property investment service does all the hard work so you don't have to. Let Michelle take care of all the headaches while you relax and earn stress-free profit. Contact her now to find out how easy it really can be.
I'm Nicholas Wallwork, businessman, investor, real estate developer and entrepreneur. In my book, Investing in International Real Estate for Dummies, I teach you specialist strategies you can use to build wealth and create an income through property and real estate investing anywhere in the world. I can steer you away from the common pitfalls and help you choose which investment strategy is right for you. This book will tell you all you need to know to grow a profitable real estate portfolio.
Property Elevator is proudly sponsored by BFS.
Renaud, delighted to meet you. Please tell us what you have.
My full name is Renaud Labouchardier.
Great
I'm
name.
Up today from, thank you. I'm up today from Bournemouth, and I'm a general manager for a room rentals company and also general manager for a construction company. And the business model is basically to buy residential properties, extend them, convert them, refurbish them into HMOs, fill them up with rent-paying guests, and then sell them to property investors or professional landlords. We've done 3 of these so far. The 4th one is just coming to a conclusion now, and it will be going on the market in May. But the one I'm offering you is a 12-bed guest house. It's got registered use as a guest house, but it was lived in by an old lady on her own for about 30 years. So as you can imagine, it needs some refurbishment. The purchase price for it is $360,000, and the refurbishment costs are estimated about $120,000. Once it's done, the rental income will be in excess of $80,000 a year. So by my reckoning, it should go on the market for about $750,000, $800,000, and I think that's going to generate a profit of between $220,000 and $270,000. There are further projects that we are waiting for planning on. I'm hoping for an investor who will work with us not just on this project, but on future projects as well. And I'd welcome any questions you've got.
Okay, well that's a great pitch, Renaud. And interestingly, HMOs are not something I normally invest in, but the size of this makes me interested. But let's start ladies first. Michelle?
Welcome. Thanks, John. Thank you very much. Thanks, Renaud, for coming in and pitching. The estimated end value seems pretty high. Who have you gone to get an estimated valuation?
Gosby's have told me between 10 and 12 times the yearly income, but the rents we charge are basically all-inclusive. So the customer doesn't pay the bills, we pay the bills. So therefore, I've allowed for 5 to 7 grand a year for bills. And then done the 10 times income multiple, and that's where I get the 750 from. The second and third project that we sold were both 6 bedroom units, and they sold for 460 and 475 respectively to a housing association in Bournemouth.
Okay. And with the 12 bedroom guest house, so are all of those bedrooms going to be en suite?
No, 4 will be en suite, and 8 will share 2 bathrooms and 2 kitchens.
Don't you think that's quite a high number of users per bathroom, 4 people to bathroom?
It's within the HMO requirements of the local council. It's 4 rooms per bathroom, 4 rooms per kitchen.
And maybe within the regulations, but how easy is it to rent out to people when many people want en suites these days?
But there is also demand for cheaper rooms, particularly from certain contingents, Eastern European, Polish in particular, who basically just here in Bournemouth to work, send money home. A lot of them are buying plots of land and building their own homes back in Poland.
No, I know that's true because some of the people who've worked on quite large site I'm taking at the moment are Polish and they save all their money. Yeah. Great workers, save all the money, and they're building something else when they get back home. Okay, Nicholas, what do you think of this?
What's the planning on it? I'm quite interested in the planning element because with HMOs, guest houses, I know Bournemouth are very difficult to work with, shall I say, on changing guest house use back to any sort of residential. They rely heavily on
as a guest
tourism.
house, because of the demographic of customers and because of the location, the majority of the customers the room rentals business will have for that property will be people who are staying 3 or 4 months. But what a lot of hotels are doing in Bournemouth at the moment is applying for dual use. So during the summer they're hotel and guest house, and during the winter they can be a HMO.
Okay, and is that your plan to do the dual use?
That would be the plan if it becomes necessary to take people for longer than 4 months. But we're geared up for the people who are coming here for the language courses. They're working, they're part-time, and full-time and sending money home. So,
A couple of questions regarding the rental income. You've obviously based it on 12 rooms, but as you said, the rooms are of different sizes and have
different amenities, yes.
Different amenities. What is the standard price of a room in Bournemouth, and what are you charging?
Within that property, the cheapest room is going to be about £100 per week.
Okay, and the most expensive?
And the most expensive is going to be about £200 per week for a couple, all-inclusive.
And have you put any void periods into your calculations?
Not as yet, no. I mean, our occupancy for the 250 rooms that we manage already is about 98%. We ask our customers to give us 3 weeks' notice whenever they're going to leave, and we do viewings and we try to fill the room up within a day or two of them leaving. We also ask them if they can find someone to fill the room for them, for us, then we will pay them an introduction fee of £50.
But they're not tied into that 3 week. That's just a honorary 3 week notice period.
We asked them, yes.
We used to call them bed sits in our day when I was doing them years and years ago. But if there was a problem with the planning, of course, we just offered them a continental breakfast, and that got us round the rules of being a guest house against a...
Correct. We can be a room-only guest house.
Right, yeah.
Or we can offer them a continental breakfast.
So you've got that covered, really, haven't you, really?
So is that, you're staying under the C1 planning category? Is that what you're hoping to do?
Yes, but we are going to apply for the HMO usage as a dual usage. So we're not going to lose the guest house.
Thank you. I mean, I don't know about you, Michelle, but I mean, you do HMOs now, don't you? And I haven't done them for years. What's your view on that? Because I'm a bit lost with it, to be honest with you.
I've never dealt with a guest house before.
I don't think that's a problem.
I think that the 98% occupancy rate that they deal with, I would want to, I think that's very ambitious.
We actually did something very similar in Watford. We took a guest house, ran it as a sort of not sui generis, but a little bit HMO, a little bit short let to keep it under the C1 planning. It's a grey area that you can operate in, but my concern is that planning, is that grey area. I don't actually like grey areas. I want to know 100%.
Offer them a breakfast and you're going to be fine, aren't you?
What was the occupancy rate on your deal then that you...
Well,
not
in
98%.
Watford, I'm going back, it was a couple of years ago we sold it, but certainly not 98%. Yeah. That's in the centre of Watford.
And also, surely sort of 30-40% of the gross is taken by the gross income is taken by expenses, isn't it?
Absolutely, it's paying all the bills.
It's paying all the bills.
I also think that end valuation is extremely high.
Yeah, that's not an HMO end valuation, that's a guest house end valuation.
Not. I think it'd be quite hard to sell that on actually because
of the amount.
If you look at
the size of it,
the cash flow is going to be about 3k a month after you pay all the bills and everything. I reckon about 36 a year maybe. Yeah. And then you're going to have to put 300 grand in, what deposit and your buying costs. It's not a great return on investment for an HMO. I wouldn't buy that.
So what do we think it's worth?
See, I'm not 100% sure on the actual rentals as well for an area. I mean, £200 a week for a room, albeit a very nice room, is very high.
It is Bournemouth.
It is Bournemouth, but
which is very nice.
Peak months you might get that.
Precisely, but you're talking middle of Christmas, and I think with no void periods built in, no allowances for extra monies being spent, I do think I agree with yourself.
I mean, I like him. I like him. I think he's a good guy.
Confident pitcher.
He's a confident pitcher, and he's in the building industry, which is good.
I was actually sitting here thinking, I don't understand his model because he's doing it up. He could refinance that, get all the money out, and hold on to it.
Yeah.
Well, we're not all like you, Sam. Some of us want to turn and make a profit and actually have some income, pay some school fees and things like that. You know,
it make a lot more money long term holding it. That's where we differ, obviously. You know?
I would have to agree with Simon.
That's why you're sitting next to him then, clearly.
So is it just you? How about you, Nick? Would you hold on to it?
I think it's a holder.
Yeah, what would you
more than anything, because I don't think you'd sell it. I think you'd really struggle selling that hybrid model.
Well,
surely, the figures are
if you think you can't, if you think you have to hold it and you can't sell it, there's no point doing it in the first place.
So I don't think the end valuation stacks up, but
so what do we think? If the income's right, if the income he's saying is right, and we think there's 35% coming off it for costs, if that's what we all think, what is it worth to sell on to someone else? What yield? 15% yield?
A minimum 15 to do an HMO.
Yeah, okay.
Ideally 20.
So, okay. That's quite high.
Right, 20%, I might even get back into it.
You should be doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not an investable project for me.
No, I'd recommend he just does it, refinances, holds onto it. He's got all the abilities and rent it out. I mean, gets all his money back.
The issue is the resale of that grey area. Is
well,
it
let's
a
find
C1?
out.
Is it an HMO? What is
issue,
it? The council get a bit difficult
I
with
don't
these
think
things.
that's
They'll
a
see
problem.
people doing
You're
this.
a typical bank manager. That's why you're called the bank manager.
The councils have quite a lot of power.
At the end of the day, surely, if it's guest house now and it's got all the fire regs for the guest house and everything else, and you give them a continental breakfast, what we used to do years and years ago, it's bed and breakfast.
It's not that simple because they will knock on the door,
Yeah.
they'll ask the tenants, how long have you
Yeah.
stayed here? They'll say more than 3 months.
And they've got an AST
and it's
rather than a
residential,
licence to be there.
And then they'll say, right, you've got
Okay.
residential here, you've just breached your planning.
Okay, so that's a bit, I'm being
So
a bit
they will knock on
gung-ho.
the door. That's the
So
problem.
that's not good advice I've given.
It's
No,
quite
I
high
I
risk.
think, you know, we've had doors knocked on before in the Watford one. We worked with the council. They were comfortable with what we were doing because we were making sure the lets were shorter term.
Okay.
But there's a risk for breaching here in lots of areas, and I think that makes it tricky to finance as well. I think this 10 times income is a problem. We all agree with that.
Yeah.
We need to base it more on an HMO model, which is
Definitely
much,
HMO. It's
much
got to be
less
HMO
than that.
model. And you're good at figures, so we'll leave that with you.
Yeah. So I think there's a few too many problems
Yeah.
with this. As you say, if he comes
Okay.
back with rock solid planning,
Yeah.
one other final thing which we haven't considered is VAT. If you're running a
just
short-term
wondering
business,
that, yeah, it needs-
VAT kicks in on the shorter lets.
Well, I would
You've got
say-
some issues there that's going to eat into his
Yeah.
margin on the
I
short
think he needs to
short let
come
stuff.
back with planning permission, subject to planning permission for the whole thing. Okay, good. Excellent. Renaud, just remind me of what you're looking for from us.
I'm looking for 100% funding on this particular project.
And what are you offering us?
I was hoping you guys would say to me what you're prepared to.
Renaud, we can't be the buyer and the seller, so you need to say what you want, and then we'll tell you whether we think it's
40% of the net profit.
I think it's a very ambitious project that you're looking at, and you're almost asking someone to be half in the hotel business and half in the HMO business. And both sectors come with an awful amount of legislation that you're going to have to know. It's not something that I'm massively familiar with the guest house, so it's not something that I would like to invest in. So, but thank you for coming, and I think you're actually very investable.
I agree. Ambitious project. I do have quite a lot of experience in HMOs and some in guest houses as well. So just to clarify, you're looking to use it half and half?
It will be used as a guest house primarily, but we will be applying for dual usage as a
See,
HMO.
on that basis, I'm not going to invest. If it was just an HMO, I can see some value there, and I personally think it'd be better to actually hold on to it, refinance and hold it, but I guess that's not what we're looking for. So
I'm open to options. But,
If the model was a bit more proven, and if you could show me 3 of these that you've done that works, that you've got planning on, you've got the council on board, you've got the numbers, I'd be very interested because there is...
To be fair, he has got it. He's done two.
we've done 3.
Yeah.
Okay, and those have the planning
We've done 3
described,
that were sold.
Yeah.
with the
and
planning
the fourth
described,
one,
the dual use.
Well, there are 2 boroughs. There's the borough of Poole, and in Poole, if it's 6 units or less, 2 stories or less, you don't need planning permission and you don't need a HMO licence. It's a non-licensable HMO. In Bournemouth, they've implemented Article 4, and basically you've got to comply with that. So it's much harder to get the HMO.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying is, and so my concern was leading on to that planning aspect. So I won't be investing for that reason mainly.
I think the rental amounts are slightly lower coming in when you take into account void periods, which then results in the overall value being slightly less, and for that reason I'm out.
My advice to you, it's not for me today, but my advice to you is if you could have bought it subject to planning permission and brought it to us on that basis, I think you'd have had a backer today. But as it is now, I'm afraid I can't invest.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you very much for coming.
I'm a little bit disappointed with how it went. I was hoping they would have been prepared to take a risk, but I understand that with the dual usage of a guest house and a HMO, that it was one that they weren't prepared to take on. So in summary, it's not all over. I will be looking to come up, and if there's an opportunity, I'll present one of the other deals we've got.
Property Elevator is proudly sponsored by BFS.
My name is John Howard, and I've been investing and developing properties for over 40 years. In that time, I've been very successful, but of course I've always made the odd mistake as well. In my book, I explain how to be successful and what to do should something go wrong. I've survived 3 property recessions. I can help you do the same. My book is available online. Please go to johnhowardpropertyexpert.co.uk.
Make your property finance easy with Bridging Finance Solutions. Our ethos is make it happen, and that's exactly what we do. We have many clients, from experienced property investors, developers and landlords, right through to people purchasing their very first investment property at auction. Bridging Finance Solutions is a principal lender, which means we have the freedom and flexibility to make immediate lending decisions. We bring years of experience with hundreds of satisfied clients. So if you're looking for fast finance from real people with a common sense approach, contact us today.
Hello, my name's Simon Zucchi. I'm the author of Property Magic, which you can buy on Amazon for $12.99 or indeed get on Audible if you prefer listening to books. Now, I started investing in property in 1995 and I became financially independent by the age of 32, but I made a huge number of mistakes because I learned the hard way. You don't have to do that. I've explained in this book how you can make a huge amount of money investing in property when you know how to do it. And one of the secrets is working with motivated sellers, people for whom the speed and certainty of the sale is more important than the amount of money they get. And we look to find people who've got a problem and come up with an ethical win-win solution. I explain exactly how you do it in here. It's a bestseller. You can buy it online, as I said. However, you can get a complimentary copy. All you have to do is phone the number below or go to the website. I ask you just to pay for the postage, tell us where you want to send it in the UK, and we'll send it completely free of charge to you. Call us right now and we'll send a book to you straight away. Learn how to invest with knowledge, invest with skill.
Investing in property and building a portfolio can be easy with the right support and service. From property sourcing to selection and financing, through to refurbishment, vetting and letting. Michelle Niziel's bespoke property investment service does all the hard work, so you don't have to. Let Michelle take care of all the headaches while you relax and earn stress-free profit. Contact her now to find out how easy it really can be.
I'm Nicholas Wallwork, businessman, investor, real estate developer and entrepreneur. In my book, Investing in International Real Estate for Dummies, I teach you specialist strategies you can use to build wealth and create an income through property and real estate investing anywhere in the world. I can steer you away from the common pitfalls and help you choose which investment strategy is right for you. This book will tell you all you need to know to grow a profitable real estate portfolio.
Property Elevator is proudly sponsored by BFS.
Geraldine, welcome.
Hello.
Thank you very much for coming today, and thank you for the very detailed analysis you've given us, which ladies tend to do and men tend not to do, which is interesting. Tell us about the deal you have on offer today for us, please.
It's a HMO. It's currently running as a HMO, and it really does need to be brought up to scratch. It's really not in a good state of repairs. The actual place that it is right close to the town centre, so you can actually walk into the town centre. Equally, it's got really good facilities of train facilities even to get into London, so it's probably about a 30-minute train ride into London. What I would really like to do to it is actually bring it up to date, put some professional people in there and make it a really nice professional property.
Okay, so tell me some of the figures.
I managed to actually secure it for 255.
Yep.
It's looking at, I had 3 estate agents look at it, and they sort of said if you really do it up and you can probably get 325 for it.
Which town are we talking about?
High Wycombe.
Well, you're lucky today because you've got probably 3 HMO experts on the panel here.
Excellent.
I'm not one of them. But
he keeps reminding us, but wants to get back into them.
But I'm starting to get tempted back after 35 years. So
hammered with all the HMO deals.
Exactly. So Michelle, what are your thoughts?
Hi Geraldine, what investment do you want?
I would like 100% investment if that's possible.
Okay.
And I'm actually looking to give 50%. And what I'd ideally like it to give an income, so that's a starting block for me. I have done various property investments before. My first property that I bought was when I was 18, and I actually did it under a shared ownership scheme.
So is this your main job?
Yes,
Yeah,
it is.
you don't work anywhere else?
I have a company called The Food Nutritionist. That's what I've always run. I've been running that for about the last 10 years. But slowly I found that it wasn't going to bring me in the income that I required. And so I'm moving over more into property. I thought it was basically me saying, right, what else can I do? And this was really what sung to me. So yeah.
Come and join us. It's a great community. Great
No,
community.
I absolutely love it. I don't think there's enough females in it.
Well, I think you're absolutely... do you know what? I agree entirely with that. And when we go to these drinks do's and there's hardly any ladies there, I'm disappointed.
So just going over your refurb costs there, what are those roughly?
Roughly about 30,000. So what I did was I got a few builders round. To make it more appealing, there's a few of the old, where the chimney breasts were. And I thought it would be beneficial just to take those out. That way, when you walk into the room, you've got lots more room.
Chimney breasts are expensive to take out, having said that.
The quote I roughly looked at about £1,000.
Okay.
What's it rented out for now?
About £360 a room.
So does the 550 include bills?
Yes, it includes bills.
You mentioned the area lending itself to HMOs.
I think because there are certain pockets in High Wycombe where there is a student vibe there. There's also the hospital's also there, and some of these houses are quite large, quite big, and they just lend itself to it. And in those areas, like for instance, this is actually on quite a busy road, so you find a lot of families don't necessarily want to live there.
Have you thought about using leverage or bank finance to buy the property in the first instance?
What you're asking at the moment is for 300 grand.
Yep.
And the return is, you're saying it's worth 325, so 300 grand invested for 25 grand return, which then has to be shared.
Yeah.
So you want me to give you 300 grand and I get £12,500 back.
Yeah.
It's not that attractive. So what might make it attractive is where Sandeep's going, is if you could leverage up with senior debt, 60%, 65, 70% of the initial cost, and we put in the equity portion, that makes the amount invested substantially less and therefore potentially more attractive.
On your figures, so you said that 550 is inclusive of bills.
Yeah, that's right.
So you would be covering the bills.
Yeah, so if you look at the second sheet, there's a breakdown.
I don't think you're lifting the value up enough on this personally, but it's a good way to, and actually I echo the sentiment that's come earlier. I don't know if you really need to use us, to be honest. If you were to refinance and get some deposit from your own home and get a normal mortgage, actually you keep 100% of the profit.
Right, okay.
I found from HMOs that the sort of 4-bed is just about marginal, whether it works. As soon as you go 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, is all the profit.
And I would definitely agree with that 6 is the magic number.
Could you do some sort of, I mean, is it a terraced or semi-detached? Could you extension to make an extra couple of bedrooms?
You can extend. There's a lot of room to extend there.
So is it worth looking at another project where you spend more to do that, but actually you then get a much higher revenue from it?
This one I quite liked because you can extend out the back.
Super. Thank you very much indeed. I like her very much. She's a very nice lady and I think she's very bright and I think she will get it right, but I'm not sure this is the right one.
If you go through her costings, I think she's got all of the running costs. They're incorrect. So she's got council tax at £80 a month.
I wish mine was.
Yeah, wish mine was. That's significantly lower than it should be. She hasn't got gardening costs on there, which you need to have as a HMO. So I think she is a lovely, lovely lady. I think she's come in very, very well prepared. Yep. You can tell that she's inexperienced, which I'm not going to hold against her.
No, nothing wrong with that.
Got to start somewhere.
Yeah, we've all got to start somewhere. But I just think there's absolutely no money in it. The estate agent would have overvalued the exit valuation. I just genuinely think that she needs to be taking your advice and going for a 6-bedroom HMO.
Sometimes if it's someone's first HMO deal, you don't know what return they're happy with. Might not be good enough for us.
But a nice four rooms, come on. You've got to start off with at least 6 and get going, otherwise you're going to be at it forever, aren't you?
Yeah.
You really are.
But it's good to dip your toe in the water sometimes.
Yeah, it is, but you dip your toe at 6 or bring us a property that needs doing up. You're paying 150 for it, you're spending 40 on it, it's worth 250, 270 when it's done. Yeah. Bring something to us.
She's not adding much value, is she, really?
No, she's not.
A really nice bog standard deal. It's something that you do on your own.
I mean, the trouble is it's running as an HMO now and it's not hugely successful. So
no.
Where's the leap to...
the 360 to 550.
Nice.
I was just spending a lot of money for not a big uplift in rent, given she's going to pay the bills.
But surely the advice we give her is to go back and buy it 40 grand cheaper.
Yeah.
If you want to buy it, but you've got to buy them at the right money.
And leverage our own finance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, Geraldine, thank you for coming back in.
I think this one is too small for me, I'm afraid. As I said, I think the 4 beds is the kind of cut-off for being profitable at all. I think you need a bigger one, 5, 6 bed, well, probably 6 or above if you want to get into some planning applications. But 6 is a nice, safe bet that's profitable. You've got a good couple of rooms, clear profit there. So for that reason, I won't be investing. But thank you for coming in.
Michelle?
On your running costs, they are a little bit too low.
Right, okay.
So when I say a little bit, I mean quite a lot. So the council tax you've got in at £80 a month, but it is significantly higher than that. Plus, also, you haven't got any gardening costs in there. So with a HMO, you need gardening, you need cleaning. I think cleaning actually, you've got £100 per month. I would say it's going to be slightly more than that. I think you will really make a success of yourself, but my advice has got to be just look into things with a bit more detail.
Okay.
But it's not something that I'll invest in.
Similar, I don't think there's enough return. You know, I think you've done a great job coming presenting, you come across very well, and once you've got a few deals under your belt, you'd be really quite investable, I think. But as I said earlier, I don't think you're giving enough uplift in value to this, you're not adding enough value to it. And as a 4-bed, there's not enough margin in it. If you wanted to maybe do it yourself, using your money just to kind of try it. It's not going to be a great deal, but at least a deal, and you'd learn a lot by doing that. Unless you can add some rooms to it, I don't think there's much scope there for me personally, so I'm not going to be investing.
As Simon said, that there's ways you can do it yourself and it would work. But to have other people invest with you, there's just not enough of an uplift in there to be of interest.
Do you know the problem with the deal?
I think when I got here, I kind of started thinking it's too small and I should have had the other deal that I was.
Problem with any deal that doesn't work is that you're paying too much for it in the first place.
Yeah, that's true.
So you need to go back, offer them 40,000 less, don't be embarrassed by doing so, offer them 40 grand less, see what they say. If you can get it for 30, 40,000 less, it'll stack up for you. You need to fund your own house up a bit, put the money into that and get cracking.
Yeah, brilliant. Sounds good to me.
Well, good luck.
Thank you.
I'm a bit gutted with the way it went because I really was hoping to come here get a deal, but I have received so much feedback from it. I think that's the main thing. I guess that I kind of had in my mind that the fact that it would be a long-term investment and that they would be taking an income out of it would work, but actually it wasn't really going to work for them. So I really think that I've got to come back with a really big and sparkly and all sort of lights blazing property so that they really want to invest.
Property Elevator is proudly sponsored by BFS.
My name is John Howard, and I've been investing and developing properties for over 40 years. In that time, I've been very successful, but of course I've always made the odd mistake as well. In my book, I explain how to be successful and what to do should something go wrong. I've survived 3 property recessions. I can help you do the same. My book is available online. Please go to johnhowardpropertyexpert.co.uk.
Make your property finance easy with Bridging Finance Solutions. Our ethos is make it happen, and that's exactly what we do. We have many clients, from experienced property investors, developers and landlords, right through to people purchasing their very first investment property at auction. Bridging Finance Solutions is a principal lender, which means we have the freedom and flexibility to make immediate lending decisions. We bring years of experience with hundreds of satisfied clients. So if you're looking for fast finance from real people with a common sense approach, contact us today.
Hello, my name's Simon Zucchi. I'm the author of Property Magic, which you can buy on Amazon for £12.99 or indeed get on Audible if you prefer listening to books. Now, I started investing in property in 1995 and I became financially independent by the age of 32, but I made a huge number of mistakes because I learned the hard way. You don't have to do that. I've explained in this book how you can make a huge amount of money investing in property when you know how to do it. And one of the secrets is working with motivated sellers. People for whom the speed and certainty of the sale is more important than the amount of money they get. And we look to find people who've got a problem and come up with an ethical win-win solution. I explain exactly how you do it in here. It's a bestseller. You can buy it online, as I said. However, you can get a complimentary copy. All you have to do is phone the number below or go to the website. I ask you just to pay for the postage, tell us where you want to send it in the UK, and we'll send it completely free of charge to you. Call us right now and we'll send a book to you straight away. Learn how to invest with knowledge, invest with skill.
Investing in property and building a portfolio can be easy with the right support and service. From property sourcing to selection and financing, through to refurbishment, vetting and letting. Michelle Niziel's bespoke property investment service does all the hard work so you don't have to. Let Michelle take care of all the headaches while you relax and earn stress-free profit. Contact her now to find out how easy it really can be.
I'm Nicholas Wallwork, businessman, investor, real estate developer and entrepreneur. In my book, Investing in International Real Estate for Dummies, I teach you specialist strategies you can use to build wealth and create an income through property and real estate investing anywhere in the world. I can steer you away from the common pitfalls and help you choose which investment strategy is right for you. This book will tell you all you need to know to grow a profitable real estate portfolio.
Property Elevator is proudly sponsored by BFS.
Andrew, thank you very much for coming today to see us. Tell us a bit about yourself and what you are offering today, please.
And I've been a full-time property investor for the last 3 years. In those 3 years, I've invested very heavily in my education, so I don't make the mistakes that other people make. In those 3 years, I've already signed 3 multi-million-pound deals.
Excellent.
I'm here today looking for a partner, a JV partner, whether it's a 50-50 split or whatever option is the Property Angels works for you. It's an end of terrace house, 191 meters, so it's pretty large, and we can title split that into 3 flats, 3 bedrooms, 1 bedroom, and a 2-bedroom maisonette on the top. And that will net you around 290k within 18 months. Very simply, the total spend will be about 1.4 million. From that, there will be about 580k net profit, which of a 50-50 JV will be 290 for the investor.
And how much money are you looking for?
1.4 million to buy, tax, to build out, and then to flip within 18 months.
What do you think the end GDV is going to be if you want to sell them on?
Very conservative, it will be 2 million.
That's as the split flats.
That's right, exactly.
Yeah.
Title split for a flip.
One is to develop them and either sell them, or you might be open to, some people might want to hold on to them.
Well, I have the most profitable one would be to buy it now, convert it to service accommodation, run that for 3 or 4 years or 5 when the market bounces up, and then we can do the title split for a much bigger uplift at the end.
Would you do the physical conversion split to 3 flats, but just not do the title split? Is that what you're saying?
If we did the longer term view, we wouldn't even split them now.
So it's currently basically an HMO in its current form, or it's a single
No, it'll
family
be a
home?
service accommodation following the Yorkshire model that we have.
Okay, but what's it being used at now? This
Right now, or it was a HMO.
was an HMO. And
I
how
think
many
it's
bedrooms
not
were
a
in that?
legal one.
Okay, but how many bedrooms were in it?
It's got 5 rentable bedrooms plus the caretaker. So actually there are 6 bedrooms in there that we can let
Why
out.
wasn't it legal? Just because the standards weren't up to spec?
I think it's been going for many years.
They didn't upgrade it, and
They just never
Okay.
applied. That's
Okay.
what happened.
How many rooms could you get out of it right now as an HMO?
I didn't really look at that too much, but we can definitely get 7 or 8 rooms.
And what would you rent each HMO room out for?
A minimum of $750 a month. There are lots there for
But you think it'll
$750
be
or
far more
more.
profitable as serviced accommodation?
I believe it'll be much more profitable as service
The challenge is
accommodation.
obviously financing it as serviced accommodation.
Yeah, it's not so easy to finance.
and planning, I guess, is the other issue. You need
Well,
to
there
get
are
the right
ways
planning
around
right.
that actually.
Okay.
I found actually if I...
Legal ways, we hope.
Yes, of course. I only do things legally. Really, I only
Of
do it
course.
legal for the long term, that's all I do. But actually I would recommend it to follow the Yorkshire model, which is actually one big house. And the rents there are hundreds of pounds, or we could even get 1,000 a night potentially.
And in Yorkshire, how much is the property valued at that you've got on the Yorkshire model? 2 million?
Yeah, there's 4 large properties.
Whereabouts in Yorkshire?
Scarborough. Sunny
Sunny
Scarborough by the sea.
I thought you could buy the whole place for that much money in Scarborough, to be honest with you, and I've done a few deals up that way. Okay, so are we all...
Sorry, I was just going to ask another couple of
Yep.
questions.
Quickly,
So,
please.
the one in Scarborough,
Yep.
it's 2 million. What is that rented out per room? Or what are you making?
Per house, if you go on AirDNA, that averages out over £570 a night.
Okay.
So you rent them out as the whole house per
The
night?
whole house.
We're
So
not
think
doing-
of
we're not
Grandma's
doing that,
70th
We're not doing the
birthday.
Scarborough deal, Michelle.
No, I know, but I'm just asking for his experience and his background and how successful he's been.
Well, clearly very. Okay, Andrew, thank you very much. We'll now have a chat amongst ourselves, and we'll be back to you shortly.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Speak to you soon. Thank you.
There's one great thing about Andrew is that he comes based in Cambridge, and of course, hopefully, he's a Cambridge United fan, which will definitely
Which means
be
he's
good for
investable,
me.
right?
Which means he's definitely investable.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So we'll see.
Well, he obviously does his research and his numbers.
Yes.
And the fact is, he's already got the
Very
model as
bright
well,
man. Very bright man.
and he's done that. That's good. I mean, I'm not sure if he's overcomplicated with this service accommodation model. Just on a, if it's going to be worth 2 million, and it's going to cost him 1.4. That's in itself not a bad project. Is he kind of overcomplicated with service accommodation?
I think what you find with very intelligent people in the property industry, in my view, not being one of them, clearly, is, and that's an honest opinion, by the way, of myself, is that they overanalyze it, over-analytic, and they complicate it. Property is a very simple business. And, if he's got 3 flats, he can convert into 3 flats, and they stand him in at 1.4 million, he can sell them for £2 million. That's a reasonable. That's the deal. That's the deal.
Well, he's actually saying, isn't it? He's buying it for 800,000 or 900,000, and then spending some money to convert it, and then it'll be worth 2 million at the end. So that in terms of a project, is fairly.
Yeah, and the GDC was 1.4 million, so there's 600 grand to make.
But I mean, he's spending £500,000 on 3 flats. I mean, how big
Well, it
are they?
depends. I wanted to clarify if he's factored in finance costs into that, or does he think if we're putting the money in,
Well, we need to ask him those questions, don't we?
That's
So I
the
mean,
thing for
to me, we need to know what the square footage of the building.
I think it says it's 191 square metres.
What's that in English?
2,000 square feet. It's
So
not massive, but not
feet.
small.
So
either.
even if it was to cost in London, £200 a foot to do, not the normal 110 or whatever. So even so, it sounds to me, as long as it's not totally derelict, that he's actually being fairly sensible on that.
The only issue, though, is there is a person who lives there who has 3 cats. Tommy.
Didn't read that
But
paragraph.
he has lived there for a number of years.
Is he assistant tenant?
I don't know. We'd have to ask the question.
Good point.
Was Tommy the caretaker?
Yes, and he's given them loyal service.
And he's
for
lived there
many years.
free.
Yeah. So these are obviously...
Well, Tommy will have to go, won't he?
Finding Tommy a good home would be beneficial to the vendors.
Andrew, welcome back. The first thing I need to ask you is, I hear you live in Cambridge.
I do.
I was a director of Cambridge United for 18 years, and I'm hoping you're going to tell me you're a Cambridge United supporter.
I am. I will be.
Fantastic. That's a great answer.
Right answer.
Well done.
Right answer.
Super.
Yeah.
Right.
I think you found a partner. There you go.
Okay. So that's it. Deal done.
The things that I've got a few questions on with my moral compass is Tommy, the caretaker.
We will look after him.
Yeah, so my concerns are legally, where do we stand with him being in the property? So he's got any rights to the property?
Actually, he doesn't, actually.
Okay.
He
There's
has
just
to
been quite a
leave.
lot of emphasis on Tommy and his cats being in the property.
I always like to do the right thing. And that'll be
And Tommy
quite easy
knows
to
that
do.
he's potentially going somewhere, being evicted.
Yes, he knows.
Yeah.
What are you spending the money on for the refocus? It says you're digging down into the basement. So could you talk to us a little bit about that?
It needs underpinning as well. That's quite a big fee as well. But that's included, and that's got a specialist underpinning. That's not like, hey, I can work out. You just
Andrew,
put
have you got a fixed price on the underpinning? from a specialist firm?
Well, I can't remember the breakdown of all the 370k for the build. I rounded up to 400k.
Yeah, but have you got a fixed price from a specialist firm? You have. Okay.
Yes, I do.
And they're giving a guarantee on it?
Yes.
They are. Okay.
But is there a basement already? And it just
yes, there is. It's just a little bit deeper. That's right.
Okay. So it's not a complete dig. It's just dropping it by.
Correct.
Would you be okay with just doing this development and selling it?
Yes. And going back to the HMO, because I never looked at it like that. When I said there was 7 or 8 rooms, actually that doesn't include the basement. You can definitely get 2 rooms down there. And there are a couple of large rooms that you can split into 2. So it's probably 10 or 11.
Does the 1.4 million include a cost of finance, Andrew? Or were you assuming that we'd put all the money in and charge it? How do we think about it?
Basically that was a 50-50 JV.
Yep.
Like that, so there was no cost of financing there.
Okay. The one thing about over the years with every development I've done with a backer or my own money, I've always valued my money or my backer's money.
Okay.
So I've always put that in at an interest rate, and I always give them that interest rate. At the moment, I put all my borrowings in 8%. So the deal has to work after that.
So I'll need to add 8% on top of that?
I would. Yeah.
Okay, so that's 140,000. So that will mean 1.56 cost. And since the GDV is well over 2 million anyway, so it's still basically the same and stacks up.
That's a very flippant, Andrew, it's a very flippant well over 2 million.
Well, it's not really, because I really mind it very down to 2 million. It should be actually 2.1 already.
So it's a moving target, this, is it, Andrew?
But it
Not
hasn't
really,
got planning
no.
consent agreed, has it? So it's subject to planning.
Correct.
Could you buy it subject to plan, do you think? Exchange with that?
I've already mentioned that already. And the problem is it's a motivated seller, so it's cheaper than what it should be already.
Yeah.
And what is their motivation? Oh, it's in there. The motivation is the guy is very old.
But if you exchange contracts, you're pretty much committing.
We could do that, and I've already mentioned that already, and I'm kind of open to that. I feel because the subject to planning, the planning's not. It's only if the investors want to get out very quickly, then the planning is an issue. Because the Lambeth Council are actually changing their guidelines, so we will get planning within 2 years at the latest.
I can't wait 2 years, Andrew.
Yeah.
So we could. So if you just want something short, well, we can do if you want to do a short deal only, then we can do a subject to planning, no problem.
You think so?
Yeah, I've already mentioned it with them.
Worst case scenario, you just convert it back to a normal house.
Always have an out before you have an in.
Yeah,
Always
exactly.
know what you're going to do if it goes wrong. We could do a pre-app. That takes a month for the council to come back on a pre-app and say what their advice is on planning, and that's pretty straightforward, and they're not like to change their minds. If they say yes, in principle, we would allow 3 flats in this subject to then you'll probably like to get it.
Yes, I actually quite like it, and I think given the subject to planning deals and the fact that the backup position is something it already is, which is a house. I know it's not the avenue we want to go down, but as a fail-safe, I'd be quite interested in investing in this.
It's wonderful.
Okay, what's your offer?
Subject to planning, if we can use bank finance as well, I'm quite happy to go with the terms that you've suggested.
Oh, fantastic, yes.
I think that there are people with a bit more expertise on this type of project than me, so I think you'd be better off with one of the other investors. So I won't be investing in this one.
I think it's a great deal. I'll come in, I'll do the whole thing. Exactly as was said. So using bank finance, I'll put all the money in for 50%. So that's my offer, but I'm saying actually,
no,
you
that's
guys
your
might
offer.
prepare to
That's
do it instead. That's my offer.
Well, I think we've all highlighted that. I think for me as well, it needs the bank finance. It's not as interesting if you're putting up the whole 1.4 million. It's too expensive. There's not enough in it. But subject to getting the maximum leverage possible with the bank and putting in all the equity, I'd be interested at 50%.
I'd be interested in joint venturing it with you. It would be subject to planning permission. I don't want to share it with any of these other lot. That's the first thing I'd say. And I will offer you 35% of the deal, not 50%. So 65-35. Yeah. Now you might ask why. The reason is I've got more experience than the rest of the guys on this type of project. I've been doing it for 40 odd years. Sold 3,500 properties like this, converting. So you have a choice. You can either go with a lot of experience, you can go with some experience. That is entirely up to you. If I were you, I'd just have a little think about it now.
I would share it, but I wouldn't drop the equity, the percentage. So if one of the other angels would like to share it, you could get 2 angels for the price of 1, but it would be at a higher cost.
Right, John, are you saying you only want 35%?
No, I'm giving Andrew 35%.
So you're taking 65%. So therefore it's not the same cost. In fact, coming with a partnership between us would be better off for Andrew, really.
Well, only if he thinks you've got enough experience to do the deal, and you'll make as much money as we will, as me and Andrew will out of it.
And whatever you want to do, Andrew, is called by us, basically. It's up to you.
Thank you all. Thank you very much for all your offers, and in fact, I would love them all, actually.
Got 50% 2 ways or 1 way shared, or you got 35%.
Or 3-way.
All 3? Sorry, I'm sorry.
Don't rule that out. Don't rule that out.
If you'd all do all 3 together, yeah? You could do that?
Well, I could deal with that.
Could be interesting.
Yeah. Could be an interesting one.
65, I think, is too high.
Yeah, I think 65 is way too high, personally.
Are you giving him advice now? Well, you're his agent.
No, I'm just saying I think 50% is a much fairer deal.
You get what you pay for in life, Simon, you know that.
Yeah, I do know that.
So, Andrew, what are you suggesting?
Come in the middle between 65 and 50.
I can't do that.
What can you do?
I've made my offer.
I think it's too high.
Well, I'm still happy to do a deal with someone else if someone wants to come in. At 50%, we can share it. It's up to you.
I really would like to work with you.
Well, let's slow down a moment.
Okay.
What about 60%? If he doesn't like 65, would you accept 60%, 20% each?
Well, hang on a minute. You've just changed the goalpost now. We've already done that bit. You know, that's the horse has bolted.
I'm doing it again. 20% for 3.
That's 20% per person.
Per person.
20%, yeah, let's do that. That's awesome.
Okay.
I'm happy. So
Great.
come and shake hands,
Congratulations.
Done.
I was in, I was out, I'm back in.
He got the strop on a bit, didn't he?
Well, what a day. I came here looking for an investor. No, I got much more than that. I got 3 investors and 3 new friends and mentors. This is an awesome day. And I'm really looking forward to working with them to make this project very successful and to help the people of Clapham. Oh, I'm very grateful for John Howard's offer. It was very generous of him. Yeah, very generous, 65% for him, only 35% for me. If he had come down a little, I'd have worked with him. However, reflecting back on it, I've got 3 new investor buddies, 3 new mentors, and I think actually for the long run, that will actually work out much better for me.
Property Elevator is proudly sponsored by BFS.
My name is John Howard, and I've been investing and developing properties for over 40 years. In that time, I've been very successful, but of course I've always made the odd mistake as well. In my book, I explain how to be successful and what to do should something go wrong. I've survived 3 property recessions. I can help you do the same. My book is available online. Please go to johnhowardpropertyexpert.co.uk.
Make your property finance easy with Bridging Finance Solutions. Our ethos is make it happen, and that's exactly what we do. We have many clients, from experienced property investors, developers and landlords, right through to people purchasing their very first investment property at auction. Bridging Finance Solutions is a principal lender, which means we have the freedom and flexibility to make immediate lending decisions. We bring years of experience with hundreds of satisfied clients. So if you're looking for fast finance from real people with a common sense approach, contact us today. Investing in property and building a portfolio can be easy with the right support and service. From property sourcing to selection and financing, through to refurbishment, vetting and letting. Michelle Niziel's bespoke property investment service does all the hard work so you don't have to. Let Michelle take care of all the headaches while you relax and earn stress-free profit. Contact her now to find out how easy it really can be.
I'm Nicholas Wallwork, businessman, investor, real estate developer and entrepreneur. In my book, Investing in International Real Estate for Dummies, I teach you specialist strategies you can use to build wealth and create an income through property and real estate investing anywhere in the world. I can steer you away from the common pitfalls and help you choose which investment strategy is right for you. This book will tell you all you need to know to grow a profitable real estate portfolio.